Hello. Oh, campus. Shall we start? So, good morning. Last week we discussed social. Nobody's online. So, last week we discussed social and ethical issues in information and communication technology. So, today we'll discuss something more practical things. So, how do we manage knowledge in management information systems? So, we'll discuss what is the role of knowledge management and knowledge management program in businesses? What types of systems are used for enterprise-wide knowledge management and how do they provide value for businesses? What are the major types of knowledge work systems and how do they provide values for firms? What are the businesses benefits of using intelligent techniques for knowledge management? So, if we take an example in knowledge management, so today's context, most of the things happen basically, based on the knowledge, right? So what is knowledge? So what is the difference between data, information and knowledge? What is data, what is information and what is knowledge? So what do you understand by data? What do you understand by information? And what is knowledge? So if you can search through wiki or whatever this thing, just search for data. So what is data? You have distinct information that is formatted in special way, right? So what is information then? So you get those data. You put in, yeah, yeah. You collect data and convert it to useful purposes. So that you call it information. Then what is knowledge? A further step ahead. So you use those information for the betterment of, say, your enterprise or business or whatever this thing, right? So that is knowledge. So we are talking about managing knowledge today. So problems of knowledge management. So document intensive research and development depend on paper records. Basically, this is an example. PNG moves from paper to pixels for knowledge management. So that is basically a paper-based system moved into a document management system. That is those on E context, right? So the problem is intensive research and development dependent on paper records. Solution was electronic document management system which stores research information digitally. So they used ELAB notebook documentation management software which creates documents into PDFs and enables digital signature and enable usage rights, enable digital searching of library. So demonstrates its IT role in reducing cost by making organizational knowledge more easily available. Illustrates how an organization can become more efficient and profitable through content management systems. So here again a keyword or buzzword, content management system. What do you understand by a content management system or CMS? We take an example, the current system which you are using, LMS, it's basically one category of content management system which is customized for learning, right? So same thing you can use for, say, product development. Sometimes it can be used for information management, like the website government web portal, gov.lk. You get a main content management system as gov.lk. Under that you get so many sub websites and sub portals, right? So likewise the LMS you are using at University of Calais. Then apart from that you have geographical things related systems, right? Marketing, likewise. So take the knowledge management landscape, knowledge management systems among fastest growing areas of software investment. So information economy, 55% of US labor force, knowledge and information workers. With that 55% of labor force, 60% of the US GDP is from knowledge and information system. Substantial part of firm's stock market value is related to intangible assets, knowledge, brands, reputations and unique business processes. So you know what are intangible assets, right? So in terms of finance, you know what are intangible assets. So when it comes to knowledge of knowledge, then brands, reputation and unique business processes, right? So those are under knowledge management landscape. So well executed knowledge based practices produce extraordinary return on investment. So important dimensions of knowledge, that is knowledge is a firm asset but it's intangible. Creation of knowledge from data, information requires organizational resources. As it is shared, experience network effects. So knowledge you have to acquire and that should be able to share whenever necessary, whenever and wherever necessary, so that your colleagues or business partners, stakeholders can take the benefit of those knowledge. If you take knowledge, it has different forms that may be in explicit, know-how based, how to follow procedures, knowing why things happen. So if we take explicit knowledge, that is basically the documented way of knowledge. If we take databases, your documents like Word or PDF, PowerPoint, then that may be in tacit as well. What do you mean by tacit? Explicit and tacit. So tacit knowledge is which is not that much structured, like emails. That might be your communications like video conference or voice records, right? So those are not that much structured as a Word document or PowerPoint, but in a form of a document, right? And the know-how and craft skills, basically the skills, and how to follow procedures, knowing why things happen, that is cause-based reactions. So important dimensions of knowledge. Knowledge has a location, that is a cognitive event, and it might be both social and individual. And knowledge has a property, what we call sticky, so hard to move, situated, contextual, that is works only in certain situations. So we take knowledge, it has basically three types of what do you call characteristics, that is knowledge has a location, and it is situational, and two major characteristics. Knowledge has location and knowledge is situational. So under knowledge has location, knowledge is location, we take this as a cognitive event, and it has sticky characteristic. So when it comes to situational knowledge, we have conditional and contextual knowledge, that is knowing when to apply procedure, that is situational knowledge. Contextual knowledge, knowing circumstances where you should apply knowledge. To transform information into knowledge, firm must expend additional resources to discover patterns, rules, and context where knowledge works. So you might have a wisdom, collective and individual experience of applying knowledge to solve problems. So it involves where, when, and how to apply knowledge. So knowing how to do things effectively and efficiently in ways other cannot duplicate prime resource of profit and competitive advantage. So if we take knowledge management in the practical situations, so have you think about any, have you got any say familiar example with related to knowledge management in the current situation or current context. So why do people need knowledge management systems? So what is the purpose of having knowledge management inside management information systems? Solve problems. Okay, so you might get a set of frequently asked questions like portal where you can go to the intranet or internet and search for particular questions or problems occur, right? So there might be solutions or ways of resolving things, right? Apart from that, if you need any information with regard to any matter, you can just go to wikis, right? So if we take as an example the Department of Agriculture, right? So they are maintaining a separate intranet called AgriWiki, right? So the purpose of that thing is once a farmer encountered with a problem, say the farmer has a sort of a pest attack in his crop, right? So by looking at observing the pattern and the other visible things, he can just go through the wiki and see what sort of pest has attacked on his crop and what are the resolutions, right? So that sort of frequently asked questions, FAQ type things, and knowledge transferring type of management systems can be used in day-to-day level, right? So apart from that, when it comes to say large organizations having thousands of products, SKUs, right? Say you are dealing with spare parts, right? So if we take a normal spare parts shop, how much of line items or SKUs would be there? Products, hundreds, thousands. So might be nearly 500,000, right? So you might get about 500,000 SKUs in a spare part shop, right? So how do they manage their things? I mean, as an example, if you take, say, spark plugs, which are used in vehicles, right? If you take spark plugs, you may get about 100, 200 different spark plugs, right? So the same model or same product, sometimes in different brand names, right? Sometimes in different quality categories. So likewise, you might get thousands of SKUs for your business. So if you don't have a proper system, right, say the normal practice is the company or the distributor provides the spare part shop with a catalog, right? For the spark plugs, then they might be having, if it say they are selling about 10 brands of spark plugs, definitely the shop owner must be getting 10 catalogs for spark plugs, right? So likewise, there are a lot of products and product categories. So for each and everything, there might be catalogs, right? So if you can introduce a knowledge management system, basically you log into the system, you enter the keywords, or something called tags, right? So tags and keywords. So those are the basic elements of information management, knowledge management landscape. So those are the basic keywords, tags and keywords. So once you tag something, you can search it through tags, right? So the tags and keywords you can attach to any document, any image, right? The purpose of tagging and attaching keyword is it's very much easy to search. So once you tag your brand name, your model, then the compatible vehicles or vehicle models, and what else? So any type of things you can tag on that particular product, right? So once you need to search for that product, what you have to do is just type, say, I want to buy a spark plug which suits for Nissan N16, right? So once you type spark plug N16, so it will list out the available spark plugs, right? So then you can go to each and every model and see the characteristics. So whereas in paper-based things, what you have to do is you have to select the relevant catalog and go to the correct page, and it will take so much of time. So likewise, you can improve your business processes by introducing knowledge management systems. So when it comes to transforming information into knowledge, firms must expend additional resources to discover patterns, roles, and context where knowledge works. Wisdom, collective and individual experience of applying knowledge to solve problems involves where, when, and how to apply knowledge. Knowing how to do things effectively and efficiently in ways others cannot duplicate is prime source of profit and competitive advantage. So organizational learning, process in which organizations learn, gain experience through collection of data, measurement, trial and error, and feedback. Adjust behavior to reflect experience, create new business processes, change patterns of management decision making. So what is organizational learning? So if we take the all days, which I have discussed earlier, the banking systems, right? So if you have a, say, department for loans, and there's a separate person who handles the loans division, if he or she is on leave on particular day, the entire loan process might be get hold, right? Because he or she does only know what are the process and procedures and what are the ways to evaluate the correct customer and what sort of security types he or she should provide for the bank, and how much of amount should be approved for the loan, right? Likewise, so many things happen impersonally, right? So those are not process-driven systems. So what now we have is the systems of standardized processes, right? So where the people-centric things are not much available. So basically what we have is standardized processes. So anyone can come into the place and work based on those standardized processes and procedures, right? So say suppose you work for the loans department now, and if you are on leave, your colleague might be able to do your job, right? Do your role. So the thing is, you have well-defined set of processes and procedures, and you have standardized those things where you can replace anybody with the existing set of rules and procedures. So organizational learning gain experience through collection of data, measurement, trial and error, and feedback, and adjust behavior to reflect experience. So you should be able to create new business processes, change patterns of management decisions making. So knowledge management, set of business processes developed in an organization to create, store, transfer and apply knowledge. So we take knowledge management, it is set of business processes developed in an organization to create, store, transfer and apply knowledge. So the keywords are create, store, transfer and apply. Right? So you should be able to create your knowledge, and you should be able to store them in a proper manner, and you should be able to transfer those things and apply. So if we go through the knowledge management value chain, each stage adds value to raw data and information as they are transformed into usable knowledge. So you get knowledge acquisition, knowledge storage, knowledge dissemination, and knowledge application. Right? So we take knowledge acquisition, it's documenting tacit and explicit knowledge. Storing documents, reports, presentations, your best practices, and unstructured documents like emails, your video conferences, voice calls, and developing online expert networks. Can you give me an example of knowledge acquisition and documenting where you are practicing now? Might be in your organizations. You take your LMS, you get presentations, then your reading material, Word documents or PDFs, and sometimes you might get record the conversations, video conferences, and you might get develop online expert networks like blogs and wikis. And creating knowledge, you store them in a place, and you can tag those things. You can tag keywords and tracking data from TPS and external sources. So the second step, knowledge storage. Yeah, you can store your knowledge in databases. You can store them in document management systems. The role of management, support development of planned knowledge storage systems, encourage development of corporate-wide schemas for indexing documents, reward employees for taking time to update and store documents properly. So the third step, knowledge dissemination, where you can use portals, push email reports, search engines, collaboration tools, a deluge of information, training programs, information networks, and shared management experience help managers focus attention on important information. So you know what are portals, right? So set of website might be intranets or internets, push mail reports, search engines, you know, Google, Yahoo, likewise. So what are collaboration tools? What do you mean by collaboration, and what is collaboration tools which are used in MIS, Management Information Systems? Can you give me an example? Have you heard any collaboration tool? Sorry? Teamwork. Sorry? ERP is a separate thing. I mean, if you take collaboration tools, it's something like a unified communication method, right? So, if you have heard about Lotus Notes, and there are collaborative tools from Microsoft called Microsoft SharePoint, right? So what it does is it provides you a sort of place where you can collaborate your organizational things, right? So you can collaborate your sales information, then you can have a collaboration with your marketing team, with your dealers, your suppliers, right? So got the point. So this is you prepare a common platform where all of your stakeholders can have access, right? As an example, say you prepare a knowledge management tool or program for your employees, right? So when it comes to employees, what are the things they need to know about? They might be looking at their available leave, right? So how much of leave available for this month, right? So how much of leave am I entitled? Then apart from that, they might be interested in knowing the special holidays which the company or the organization allows, right? Then there might be situations where there are, say, the interviews, I mean, for your next promotion, or sometimes might be uh, for the next year you might be having, you should be provide the targets, right? So the what you call the appraisals, right? You should be know. I mean, they might be interested in knowing when my appraisal is scheduled, right? So when I have to submit those appraisals and when my appraisal interview is scheduled. Likewise, the other HR related things. Right? So all of those things you can put in an intranet, so all the employees can view appropriately, right? The another benefit is say you are working in a large organization. There might be thousands of employees, so you might not know each other, right? So if you want to search a people, right, search a guy who works for your organization in the similar field, right? Say I'm working for agriculture related things. So who are the other people in my organization working on agriculture related things, right? So that you can have sort of a collaboration. So you can share information related to your business, right? For those kind of things, you can use collaboration tools. As I mentioned you, examples are Lotus from IBM and SharePoint from Microsoft. So next step is knowledge application. To provide return on investment, organizational knowledge must become systematic part of management decision making and become situated in decision support systems. So that should be able to provide new business practices, new products and services, new markets. So end of the day, what you need is to improve your profitability, to enhance your businesses, right? So once you have correct information or correct knowledge shared on correct time, you should be able to look at and think about new business practices, new products and services, and you can get new markets open. So if you take the current situation or the current era, new organizational roles and responsibilities. We have chief knowledge officers on chief knowledge executive, dedicated staff for knowledge management or knowledge managers, communities of practice, COPs, informal social networks of professionals and employees within an outside firm who have similar work-related activities and interests. Activities include education, online newsletters, sharing experiences and techniques. Facilitate reuse of knowledge, discussion. Reduce learning curves of new employees. That is, you can use these portals or knowledge management systems for the betterment of training people, where you don't need that much of time for training or providing induction trainings for new employees, where you can provide them access to your knowledge management system. So there are three types of knowledge management systems, three major types of knowledge management systems. Enterprise-wide knowledge management systems. So those are for general purpose firm-wide efforts to collect, store, distribute and apply digital contents and knowledge. And the other system is knowledge work system, specialized systems built for engineers, scientists, other knowledge workers charged with discovering and creating new knowledge. And intelligent techniques, diverse group of techniques such as data mining used for various goals, discovering, know-how, knowledge, discovering optimal solutions. So we have three types, basically enterprise-wise knowledge management, knowledge work systems, intelligent techniques. So we are basically concentrating on enterprise-wide knowledge management systems. So those are the major types of knowledge management systems. We have enterprise-wide knowledge management system, knowledge work systems, intelligent techniques. So enterprise-wide knowledge management systems are general purpose, integrated firm-wide efforts to collect, store, disseminate and use digital content and knowledge. So it contains enterprise content management systems or CMSs, collaboration tools like SharePoint and Lotus, learning management systems we are using now, Moodle or whatever you see, and knowledge network systems. So if we take knowledge work systems, which are specialized workstations and systems that enables scientists, engineers and other knowledge workers to create and discover new knowledge. Computer-aided designing, CAD, 3D virtualization, virtual reality, investment workstations. So intelligent techniques, tools for discovering patterns and applying knowledge to discrete decisions and knowledge domains. Data mining, neural networks, expert systems, case-based reasoning, fuzzy logic, generic algorithms and intelligent agents. So if we take enterprise-wise knowledge, you get three major types of knowledge in enterprises. So that is structured documents, semi-structured documents and unstructured. So structured documents are reports, presentations, forms of rules, formal rules. Then semi-structured documents like emails, videos, voice records, etc. And unstructured are tacit knowledge. So what is tacit knowledge? What do you mean by tacit? So it's basically the knowledge which cannot be documented. Why? So the experiences, skills, some sort of understanding of the knowledge which cannot be documented. So 80% of an organization's business content is semi-structured or unstructured. That's where the problem is. So we got only 20% of structured documents, which is in presentations of document type. So enterprise content management systems help capture, store, retrieve, distribute, and preserve documents, reports, best practices, semi-structured knowledge like emails and video conferences. So you can bring in external sources like news feeds, research, and tools for communication and collaboration. You take an enterprise content management system. You can create, capture, tag, store, retrieve, manage and review, distribute and publish knowledge. You can store them in unified repository as reports, presentations, best practices, memos, digital slides, emails, graphics, videos and news feeds. So if we take an example, the document management systems where you can use, the managing of knowledge as a form of document management systems. Right? So the one of the best place where this is practiced is registration of births and deaths in Sri Lanka, right? In Sri Lankan context, the content management system or document management system where you can practice at the optimal level is the Department of Registration of Deaths and Births, right? So we take each and every person in the island must have a birth certificate, right? So at the same time, you need to register the birth, and once the person is died, you have to register the death certificate, right? So if how much is the population of Sri Lanka now? 30, 20, 40, 22 million, 21 million, 21 or 22, right? So for the entire 22 million, you have to have reports or records of 22 million, and if we take the past records, there might be billions of records, right? For each and every document, you have to maintain the physical document, right? So how much of storage you need to allocate to keep those records or documents, right? And how much of resources you need to put for the security, right? You have to secure them from rain. You have to secure them from pest attacks, right? Then you have to secure them from thieves, right? There might be thefts. What else? Right? So you have to think about security. Then you have to think about the access, easy access, right? Say, I need a photocopy or copy of my birth certificate, right? So good old days, what I have to do is, say, if my birthplace is Kandy, I have to go to the Kandy Divisional Secretariat and ask for the birth certificate, right? So the person, the subject clerk, has to go to the particular room and select the year, and he or she has to search the files for the particular month, and once it pulls out the file, he or she has to go through each and every document to select my one, right? So the other thing is the reproduction, right? So if I need it tomorrow, so the same set of things have to be happen, right? So they need to go to the particular record room and search for the year or month, and they have to search for the particular document. And if you take if a disaster happens, right? Say a flood or fire, or might be earthquake or tsunami like thing, right? So your entire documents will be destroyed, and that cannot be recoverable, right? So you are at a great danger. And the other thing is, as I mentioned earlier, the resources. You have to utilize your spaces, your other human resources for security and other things, right? So you have to think a lot on those matters, right? So how they have get rid of those things is, they have introduced a document management system where you can store your birth certificates and death certificates in a document management system as a form of scanned document, right? So the advantage here is, you can scan your document, and once you store those information or documents, you can tag, right? You can have tags with your birthplace, your birth date, then your name, sometimes your Gramanladari division, GN division. Likewise, so many tags can be attached to that particular document, right? So once you store those things in document management system, it can be easily accessed with proper authentication, right? So everybody in the department cannot access each and every document, but with proper rights and authorizations, the people can access documents. Say, if you need to take a copy of your birth certificate, what you have to do is, you have to just provide your name or your birthplace, or if you have any reference number, you can just provide the reference number, right? So the people at the knowledge management system can search for that information, I mean with that keywords or tags, and search your, I mean can get your birth certificate, right? So it's just a matter of giving you a printout of the copy. The most advantage here is, when a disaster occurs, right? So you don't need to think about your, you don't need to bother about your information, because you can have disaster recovery sites. You can have backups, right? Say for your database, you might have so many, you can maintain 2 or 3 backups, right? You can maintain disaster recovery sites. Suppose your head office or main branch is here, so I can maintain another backup or disaster recovery center at, say, Gollo, Madro, whatever this, wherever the available place, right? So the benefit of those things is that backup is sooner you get affected with your primary site, you can take it from the backup site, right? So your information is secure. So the best example is, if you can remember, there was a fire on this birth and death certificate related department few years back, right? So say if it was happened on today, from tomorrow onwards, the people were able to work. They were on back to normal, right? So the reports or the birth certificates or death certificates were not affected. They had a backup at their ER site. What they did was they just restore the backup. They need to have only their hardware replaced, right? So because of the fire, the hardware got damaged. They replaced new hardware and restored the backup. And from the following day onwards, they were able to work as normal. So that sort of benefits are there with knowledge management systems. So that is one of the best example in document management system. So if we take enterprise content management systems, key problem is developing taxonomy, digital asset management systems. So developing taxonomy, knowledge objects must be tagged with categories for retrieval. As I mentioned you earlier, the example of birth certificate. So you can tag with each and every keyword. So your name, your place of birth, your date of birth. Likewise, you can have several tags. Digital asset management systems, specialized content management systems for classifying, sorting, managing unstructured digital data. So that can be photographs, graphics, video, audio, etc. So knowledge network systems provide online directory of corporate experts in well-defined knowledge domains. Use communication technologies to make it easy for employees to find appropriate expert in company. Many systemized solutions developed by experts and store them in knowledge database, which we call best practices or frequently asked questions. So knowledge network systems are basically used very much in technical things, right? Technical related organizations. As an example, if you take the agriculture industry, there are several set of experts, right? So if you take paddy industry, we have separate set of experts related to paddy cultivation and related things. Like take fruits and vegetables or highlands, we have separate set of experts. And for foliage and other things, flora and fauna, we have another set of experts, right? So likewise, you have set of verticals or set of knowledge experts in well-defined knowledge domains. That is, for seeds, paddy, we have one sector, one set of experts. For highlands, for fruits and vegetables, we have another set of experts. And for flora and fauna, we have another set of experts. For tea and tea, rubber and coconut, we have another sets of people, right? So likewise, we have well-defined knowledge domains with expertise of knowledge, right? So you can use communication technologies to make it easy for employees to find appropriate expert in company. Suppose you are working for an agriculture company and you are doing marketing for, say, fertilizers, right? So you need to address some sort of nutrition deficiency, right? Say you are working on an area which have, where the people cultivate coconut, right? So in that area, you can see, okay, so there are some symptoms where my nutrients are deficient, right? So what you can do is, you can log into the knowledge management system and put your information, right? So these are the visible characteristics. So these type of problems are there, and based on the problem, your question will be directed to the particular expert line, right? So there might be frequently asked questions. The same problem might be occur previously, so that you can go through the FAQ or best practices, and if does not solve your problem, you can straight away contact the expert on the particular domain line, right? So this is one of the key advantage of knowledge network system. And this is how it works. So you have expert systems 1, 2 and 3. You can browse or search. If you get previous solutions or best practices, you can pick it straight away, or else you have to go through the knowledge management experts. So we take portal and collaboration techniques. We have enterprise knowledge portals, access to external and internal information, basically in the format of news feeds or research papers. Capabilities for email, chat, video conferencing and discussion. Use of consumer web technologies, blogs, wikis, social bookmarking. LMS or learning management systems provide tools for management, delivery, tracking and assessment of various types of employee learning and training. Support multiple modes of learning based on that might be in CD-ROM, web-based classes, online forums, live instructions, etc. It automates selection and administration of courses, assembles and delivers learning content, measures learning effectiveness. So when it comes to portals and collaboration technologies, So enterprise knowledge portals which have access to external and internal information. So if you can go through it got connected again. So we'll get a break of 10 minutes and start. An application of document management system. So practical scenario, as we described earlier, we need to identify which we are going to save or store, and we have to capture those things, tag those things, archive, store, and that should be able to collaborate with others. So this is one of the proprietary product. So how does it happen is you can capture documents straight away from the scanner. So there are special purpose scanners where you can scan very rapidly, and there are some sort of mechanisms where you can scan books even, right? So without peeling off, you can scan books, right? So likewise, you can scan whatever the document directly from your server, and that can be captured to your system, knowledge management system, straight away from the scanner, right? So those devices are interconnected, the scanner and the application server, right? So once you scan those things, you can tag the documents, right? So once you tag it, you can organize. Whenever you need to get it back, or when you need to share it with others, you can easily collaborate with others. And the security, as I mentioned to you earlier, you can secure documents with so many backups, right? Backup repositories, so that if you fail with one database, you are secured with the others, the backups, and you can save time and money. So we go through the steps. How does it work? You set up the application, and at the initial stage, I mean, this is for the proprietary product, they will provide assistance and guide you through the whole set of process and the set of rules and procedures. They will inform you. And next step is you capture and upload documents, scan bulks of documents, or capture directly using the scanners. And if you have already scanned, you can straight away upload it. Then the tagging activity, after you capturing and uploading, you now add tags to your documents for easy searching and access, right? And you store, I mean, after this tagging, you can store your documents, might be in your server or might in the cloud. And when you need to retrieve those information or the document, you can just find with your tags or keywords, right? So tagging, these are the types of tags available. So you can tag, refers to actions that you do with your documents that integrate your workflow. That is, you can tag, say, invoices, finance, might be HR. Then you can have reference tags, like predefined tags that comes in handy when sorting out information. Say you need to mention this is an invoice, this is a birth certificate, or this is a receipt, likewise, right? Then user tags. You can put your name or the type of user, highly eligible tags that can be modified by the user anytime. And library tags refers to tags that are department specific, say marketing, human resources, finances, likewise, right? So the benefit of tagging is you can just search with tags, right? Say you want to find an invoice which was say created by yourself. What you have to do is you have to enter the document type, that is invoice, user your name, and if you know the date or whatever this thing, you can just enter and search, right? So this is the way of tagging. So there are benefits of tagging, and once you try to retrieve those archived data, it will prompt you some sort of a mechanism so that you can identify the keywords which have been searched for the last few hours or few days, right? So the most typed or most searched keywords or tags would be highlighted or might be in large fonts, right? You can search this thing. Uh, you can see the tags, right? So once you search something, it will show that available tags, and say you are searching for electro swing, and if this is sorry, if this keyword is repeated several times, it will show in a different size, I mean in a larger font, right? So that you can straight away see, right, okay, so this keyword is searched so many times, right? So those kind of benefits are there. And the other thing is how do you collaborate things? So you can access files from anywhere. That is, if you are if you have open this thing to the internet, you can straight away go to the internet and search for your documents. And if it is on the intranet, you can search within your organization or within your net. So organize and search easily. That is, you can search with your keywords and tags easily, and you can collaborate with colleagues. So you can share it with your colleagues and sometimes with other departments, right? And it's time saving and more productive. So you don't need to file your documents, you don't need to sort it and keep in record rooms, right? So you don't need to bother about spaces. So those are the collaboration benefits. And when it comes to security, you have two types, active and passive security. So active security is the level of authority where you can have permission levels to access each and every document. Say if you are into marketing division and the invoice, right? If you take an invoice, the price of particular product should not be waived by say another department. HR division does not need the price of that particular product which you have sold, right? So where you can hide the price on the document, right? So there are ways and methods where the entire document is stored in the system, but according to the user level, you can hide some sort of things. Say, if you doesn't need any information related to customer to be viewed by other departments, you can hide those things. The user at say HR department can see the invoice without the address and the name of the customer, right? The other thing is passive security, where you can encrypt those information so that nobody can restore the database or whatever this thing and can have access to the information. So as I mentioned earlier, certain portions of the documents are blacked out according to document security level with dynamic redaction. Meanwhile, dynamic watermarking discourages users to screen capture or mobile capture from the computer screen. So that is we take the hacking or information thieving, right? So most of the time it happens with the internal staff or the employees of the organization, right? So most of the situations the hacking is done by the internal staff. Now we are in an era where you have so many sophisticated technical things, right? So you secure your things, documents with so many things. I mean, say like very sophisticated products, but one particular user can just take a picture of that particular document with a smartphone, right? But with this sort of applications, you can eliminate those kind of scenarios, right? So what it does is dynamic watermarking, which will distort the images. And security, as I mentioned you earlier, you can have several set of rules for securing your documents. And each level of the system has been assigned level of access given by authorized users, which makes documents more secure. Internal leakage is prevented through active security. Active security, you provide access level to certain users where you provide passwords and access keys. Users can be enabled to access the system by assigning usernames and passwords to authorized users. And documents are protected regardless of where it is stored using conversion of data intra-code. Decryption into the document is needed for access. Under document scope, you can assign access and action of documents. Certain documents may be labeled as cannot print or email, which restricts documents from unauthorized circulation. Multi-factor authentication is used to protect and secure documents, be able to gain access through the approval of certain users, and be notified when an unauthorized action is being made to highly classified document. So that's how a document management system works. So you get security features, collaboration features, and you can have efficiency features. You know how to type those things and to retrieve the things. Right. So did you get slowed? I mean, as we mentioned earlier, the knowledge management systems should be able to collaborate with each other, right? So another example, practical example is, if you can remember, a few months back, we had a flood situation, right? So normally what's the organization when a disaster occurs who are coming into the picture and do certain things? So they act proactively, do some certain things. I mean, the escalation, security, and welfare things. The disaster management center. So there's a separate department for disaster management. So what happened was, the flood was started on Friday evening. The Saturday, the most of the areas of urban Colombo area were flooded, right? So once the disaster management center wanted to have sort of information regarding the places, so they wanted to have maps, right? The maps of, say, territories, then road maps, and all those things. So the maps were with Department of Survey, but to access those things, they need to The disaster management center wanted maps and related things from the survey department, but since it was on a holiday, they couldn't get the information what they want at the correct time, right? So since the access roads were flooded and the people who were working on survey department couldn't reach their office, so the disaster management center couldn't get information related to roads and all the stuff on the proper timing, right? So to eliminate those things, you need to have some sort of collaboration methods. I mean, when it comes to large organizations, you should be able to share or collaborate your information, the relevant information with other parties whenever necessary. So the interoperability should be there. The keyword is interoperability. The information should be able to collaborate with other related parties when and they are necessary. Right? So if you can't share your information whenever necessary, the point of collaboration is not there, right? So when you develop systems, you have to think about the interoperability, right? So as I mentioned earlier, the disaster management center and the survey department, the disaster management center and the department of meteorology should have the compatibility or interoperability of certain things, right? So the weather conditions, the rainfall, wind speed, then the alerts of other things like tsunami alerts, then hurricane alerts and all those stuff. So all those things, the information which needed by the DMC Disaster Management Center should be available when necessary. At the same time, the maps and the other things from survey department have to be provided in timely manner. Likewise, if we take the other information like divisional secretariats, information like GN divisions and the population in each GN division have to be collected to DMC. Likewise, each and every application or system should have the facility of interoperability, where the information should be able to collaborate with related parties. So the same thing happens when it comes to normal business scenario. Suppose you are running your business on an ERP where you have control of your inventory, your debtors, your creditors, your sales and data management systems, finance, HR, right? So we are talking about collaboration, right? So there are stakeholders who are involved in your business with your organization, outsiders, right? If you take the financial institutions like banks, insurance companies, then the government agencies like Inland Revenue, then other stakeholders like your creditors, your suppliers, and your customers, right? So you should be able to provide access to relevant parties with relevant authority level for relevant information so that they can collaborate with your system. So as an example, if you have a system where your suppliers can see your stock level of your raw materials, right? Say I am a supplier of say tires, right? So for your not tires, say Suppose, okay, you are a manufacturer of chocolates, right? So you need cocoa, right? So I'm the supplier of cocoa, right? So if I can have access to your system where I can see your raw material stocks, right? What I can do is I can plan my crop. At the same time, if my production is not sufficient, I can purchase from outside other growers, right? So that sort of collaboration facility should be available with proper access levels to the customers, right? So when we come back to ERP again, so we described that everything is integrated with an ERP. So say you are supplying your goods to modern trade supply like say Cargills or Keels, right? So what they can do is they can provide a common or universal platform where their suppliers can log into and see their stock levels at each and every location, each and every outlet, right? So if one particular outlet is running out of stocks, Cargills or Keels does not need to raise a purchase order, right? The system will automatically generate the purchase order to the related supplier, and supplier can straight away transfer goods to that particular outlet or stores, right? So coming back to the slides again, so example of knowledge work systems, that is computer aided systems, computer aided design, CAD, creation of engineering or architectural designs, virtual reality systems, simulate real life environments, 3D medical modeling for surgeons, augmented reality systems, and virtual reality systems. So investment workstations streamline investment process and consolidate internal and external data for brokers, traders, and portfolio managers. Intelligent techniques used to capture individual and collective knowledge and to extend knowledge base. To capture tacit knowledge, expert systems, case-based reasoning, fuzzy logic, knowledge discovery, neural networks and data mining algorithms, gathering solutions to complex problems, generic algorithms, automating tasks, intelligent agents. So there are so many keywords. So intelligent techniques to capture tacit knowledge, expert systems, case-based reasoning, fuzzy logic. So what is expert system and what is fuzzy logic? You know the terms. So this is something related to the subject area called artificial intelligence, right? So it's a separate huge area. So you can just have a search on Google for artificial intelligence technologies, right? So we'll just go through the techniques. So it's basically computer-based systems that emulate human behavior, artificial intelligence. So when it comes to expert system, it captures tacit knowledge in very specific and limited domain of human expertise. It captures knowledge of skilled employees as set of roles in software system that can be used by others in organization. So typically perform limited tasks that may take a few minutes or hours. Example, diagnosing malfunctioning machine, determining whether to grant credit for loan. Used for discrete, highly structured decision making. expert systems, that is basically a rule-based system. So you upload information or provide information to the system, and it has stored those things. Based on your information, it will provide you the decision. Rules in an expert system. So an expert system contains a number of rules to be followed. The rules are interconnected. The number of outcomes is known in advance and is limited. There are multiple paths to same outcome, and the system can consider multiple rules at a single time. So this is the way how it happens in expert systems. So you can just go through artificial intelligence if you need further information. So how expert systems work? It has a knowledge base, a set of hundreds of thousands of rules, an inference engine strategy used to search knowledge base. So you can use a forward chaining, where inference engine begins with information entered by user and searches knowledge base to arrive at conclusion. The backward chaining begins with hypothesis and asks user questions until hypothesis is confirmed or disproved. So successful expert system, it conveys transportation bill expert system to automate and optimize planning of overnight shipment routes for nationwide freight trucking business. So most expert systems deal with problems of classification. They have relatively few alternative outcomes. Possible outcomes are known in advance. Many expert systems require large, lengthy and expensive development and maintenance effort. Hiring or training more experts may be less expensive. So to have a successful expert system, you need to have a decent set of rules to be uploaded to the system. So it's a very huge operation and a costly operation. And another intelligent technique is case-based reasoning. So it's description of past experience, human specialist, stored in knowledge base. System searches for cases with problem characteristics similar to new one and find close fit and apply solutions for all case to new case. Successful and unsuccessful applications are grouped with case. It stores organizational intelligence. Knowledge base is continuously expanded and refined by users. So these are found in medical diagnostic systems and customer support. Next one is a fuzzy logic system. It's a rule-based technology that represents impression used in linguistic categories, that is cold or hot, that represent range of numbers. So according to the number or the term, it provides a range of say if it is cool, you provide a range of temperature. This is from 15 degrees to 25 degrees. If it is hot, you provide a range telling this is 30 to 40. describe a particular phenomenon or process industrially and then represent that description in a small number of flexible rules. Provide solutions to problems requiring expertise that is difficult to present with if then else rules. This can be seen in autofocus cameras, detecting possible medical fraud, the acceleration control systems in modern rail, subway rails. And this can be seen in some electronic applications as well. So if you have seen the fuzzy logic is used in modern air conditioning systems, refrigerators, then washing machines, right? The next one is neural networks. Find patterns and relationships in massive amounts of data, too complicated for human to analyze. Learn patterns by searching for relationships, building models, and collecting over and over again. Humans train network by feeding it data inputs for which outputs are known to help neural networks learn solution by example. Used in medicine, science, and business for problems in pattern classification, prediction, financial analysis, and control and optimization. Machine learning related artificial intelligence technology allowing computerized learn by extracting information using computation and mathematical methods. So this is the representation. And genetic algorithms useful of finding optimal solutions for specific problem by examining very large number of possible solutions for that problem. So conceptually based on process of evolution, search among solution variables by changing and recognizing components parts using processes such as inheritance, mutation, and selection. Used in optimization problems in which hundreds of thousands of variables exist. Able to evaluate many solution alternatives quickly. So hybrid AI systems or hybrid artificial intelligence systems where genetic algorithms, fuzzy logic, neural networks, and expert systems integrated into single application to take advantage of best feature of each. So example, Matsushita neurofuzzy washing machine that combines fuzzy logic with neural networks. So intelligent agents are work in background to carry out specific repetitive and predictable tasks for user, process or application. Use limited built-in or learn knowledge base to accomplish tasks or make decisions on user's behalf. As an example, deleting junk email, finding cheapest airfare. So you can automate your deletion of your junk mails, your trash bin, likewise. Agent-based modeling applications, systems of autonomous agents, model behavior of consumer, stock market, and supply chains used for predict spread of epidemics. So this is basically all about information management or knowledge management. So have you get questions related to this thing? I mean knowledge management, how does it work? So where you can use the things. So if you have any questions, just let me know. Then we'll take 5-10 minutes for review what we have done so far, sort of a revision, right? So if you have any questions from the beginning, we have started with documentation techniques in information systems. Then we did building information systems, social and ethical issues in information systems, and today we discussed about managing knowledge. So if you have any questions related to those areas, just let me know, and we'll discuss something related to the questions. So how many marks you're getting from this paper? How many marks already you have earned using quizzes and assignments? Okay, 20%. Okay. Okay. 50%. Have you got any questions related to those areas? Basically, we'll be getting focused on building information systems, right? If you can remember, the software engineering methodologies we have discussed, right? So we had traditional method, the waterfall method, system development life cycle, right? So you get some phases there: analysis, design, and remember those things. Go through. Software process. We had software process models, process activities. Structured set of activities required to develop software system, where we get type of waterfall method, incremental development, integration and configuration. So we take waterfall method, it's a plan driven model, and it has separate and distinct phases of specification and development, where you need to complete each and every phase to begin the next phase. Incremental development, what we have done is specification, development and validation are interleaved. So we can remember the steps: analysis, design, testing, implementation and maintenance. So in incremental development, we interleaved specification, development and validation. And benefits of traditional method and benefits of a traditional method versus incremental development. So the cost, the easiness and the time. And you should be able to describe the difference between generic products and customized product products in software products. So what is a generic product? Standalone systems that are marketed and sold to any customer who wishes to buy them. Customized products, software that is commissioned by specific customers to meet their own needs. And essential attributes of good software, we discussed the characteristics: maintainability, dependability and security, efficiency, acceptability. Maintainability is software should be written in such a way so that it can evolve to meet the changing needs of customers. Dependability and security, software dependability includes a range of characteristics including reliability, security and safety, efficiency and acceptability. So software engineering, we take is an engineering discipline. So the importance of software engineering. System modeling, there won't be any questions. We discussed ERPs. Right, so what is an ERP? Enterprise Resource Planning. So you get silos of information systems where you got integrated as modules. So online information at the corporate office, standardization of systems across locations. So you got seamless integration, right? So the problem solved by ERP, what are the problems and things? Benefits of ERP. So you don't need to bother about maintaining several information silos. You need to consider on one particular server and that particular area. So what are the other benefits? Improved performance, reduce quality cost, improves resource utilization. So the major benefits of ERP, main modules. And building information systems, which we have discussed a few minutes back. So the activities which we have discussed earlier, the waterfall method, system analysis, design, programming, testing, conversion, production and maintenance. The traditional life cycle or the structured system. And when it comes to conversion or the implementation, we had 4 main strategies: parallel strategy, direct cutover, pilot study, phased approach. So can you remember what is parallel strategy, what is direct cutover, pilot study and phased approach? Sorry? Couldn't follow you. You didn't receive it. Alright, I'll upload it to this. So you have to be thorough on this conversion or implementation strategies. What is parallel strategy? What is direct cutover? What is pilot study? And what is phased approach? Can you remember those things? No. So you have focused more on this building information systems, right? So, and the initial slides. First day. Day 3, social and ethical issues. So you need to know the definitions, ethical, what is ethics, and all those stuff. Then you need to know about advances in data analysis techniques, I mean understanding of profiling, non-obvious relationship awareness. So what is those? What are those? And from today's the methods of or the steps of managing knowledge, how do you, the process, how does it happen, right? Knowledge acquisition, storage, dissemination, and application, the value chain. So you should be thorough on these 4 areas: acquisition, knowledge storage, dissemination, and knowledge application. So that's all. Have you got any clarification? So you don't need me to do anything related to this? So though this is a very lengthy chapter, I mean lengthy area, you need just few things. I mean the key areas and keywords you should be able to know. I mean you know to cover on the entire chapters, right? But anyhow, I recommend you to go through the reference which you have given, the Lord MIS chapters, chapter 4, 11 and 13, and the material which I have provided. Okay then, so we'll wind up the session and see you after the examination. Good luck.